Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel Try It Yourself. Today's project is replacing rear brake pads on 2017 Ford Escape 1.5 liter. Not that it's mad, it's a front wheel drive by the way. So when I was buying brake pads, they've been asking if it's a front wheel drive or four wheel drive. So on the four wheel drive it's probably going to be different. I don't know, this is front wheel drive 2017 Ford Escape. Before I start with this project, if you not signed up to my channel yet, please do that, and if this video will be helpful for you, don't forget to give me a like. Before you start any project, safety first. So when you lift it up, your vehicle and the tires moving freely. Obviously if you have to use like a manual wrench, just make sure the tires sitting on the floor. You have to break lug nuts before you can lift it up. But if you're using impacts or power tools, that's not necessary. What is necessary though is safety. So I'm using stands like this under the vehicle. If you don't have a fancy stand like that, anything would work. You can stick a spare tire in there, 2x4, anything, you know. So safety first, because stuff happen to the jacks and the vehicle can go down and you can create a damage. And when you're doing brake pads, I mean, it's not very likely that you can get stuck under the vehicle, but if you're doing something more serious, bad stuff can happen. So safety first, stick it somewhere over here under the vehicle in case it's gonna drop down. You have a backup plan. First thing I do, this is not really necessary, but there's a Christmas tree over here on this harness. It's just gonna be, you'll see in my next steps, it's gonna be a little bit easier when this harness and this brake hose are released. So I take this Christmas tree out, and I undo this screw over here. This is 8mm by the way. Next thing you do, take a flat screwdriver, and there's two plastic caps on the caliper, one here and one over here. So you just gently, or I mean you can actually take it even without the screwdriver probably. Yeah, just like that. And there's Allen wrench screws over here, top and on top and bottom, and this is metric 7mm L wrench. You loosen up both of those. Actually, not just loosen up, but you're gonna see it coming over here from the thread. You gotta make sure you get all of it totally out, so it hides inside this. Whoop. You don't have to do that. You just want to have it clear from this thread over here. just like that. Next, you remove this spring over here. Just like that. And then you need some kind of pry bar or something to pry. Just like that. Then you just lift it up, and that's why you need all of this released, because that way you have good access. And over here you can come up with something that will support this thing. You don't want it hanging on the holes of the harness. So either some kind of stand or some kind of hook supported over here, whatever works for you. So we still have this old brake pads. That's what's left of it. And so is this one, so we got it just in time on this one before you actually start ruining the rotor. So perfect timing. So next step, I use this cool set I bought from Amazon that works for any possible setup, I would think. And you have a left hand winder, or whatever you're gonna call this thing, and the last, because the left tire has one thread and the right tire has a different thread, so you have to use two different things. But anyway, it has for all kinds of different setups. So this one, if you're gonna use exactly the same kit as I do, this is number 7, and it has to lock. If you're gonna look over here on the caliper itself, it has 2 grooves, one over here on each side. And the trick about this thing, you cannot just push it, you have to screw it and at the same time push it, and that's what this thing does. One thing to remember, if you're gonna buy exactly the same thing, see, this is, it says LH, left hand, and I'm on the passenger side, so this is right hand. So I don't know if they screwed up when they did this, but this is my second brake. First time I did it on Ford Focus, and I thought maybe guys, because it was a rebuild title, maybe guys, you know, did some shortcuts and somehow install it on the wrong side. But anyway, so when you do the left on the right on this kit, it works. So you just have to kind of like assemble it, like, so you assemble it like that. It has 2 holes. You slide it from the top over here. Make sure you hit 2 grooves over there, and then you slowly unscrew it until it hits those 2 brackets. And now you just wind it slowly to the left until the caliper hides all the way inside. The one tricky thing that confused me when I did the other side, at some point it's just gonna stop. Well, would you look at that? This is the first time I saw it like that. Both sides on the Ford Escape 2017, right hand thread. So actually, see, well, surprise for me. So you gotta go on both sides on this one until it stops. See, it stops over here. At this point, you just do it really easy by hand, and look, pay attention to this. That's, you got to the stop point, and now you just slowly, you can use it if you cannot do it by hand. Obviously this side has a nice setting over here. I don't know what this is going to be, probably 3/4 or something like that wrench. You wind until this thing hides flat, and you gotta make sure that this rubber boot didn't get chewed up, so it hides nice and smooth. Just like that, it stops, and from this point you go the other way a little bit to release it, and see, now it's nice and flush over here. That's all we wanted. So we're done with this kit, and from this thing we just put everything back together. And by the way, when it comes to brake, on almost on everything I use OEM parts, but on this case I use Duralast brakes from AutoZone. Why? The price about the same, but here's the tricky part. If you planning to keep your vehicle, AutoZone give a lifetime warranty, and they have like 3 different kinds, like a high-end pads, mid-grade, which is the same as the OEM, and like really cheapy ones. And those are about the half of the price from the expensive ones, and all of them have lifetime warranty. So if you're planning to keep your vehicle, this is really nice deal, because I mean you could buy this one set and just keep on changing for free from now on. So that's why I use Duralast for years really. So at this point you just slide the brake pads. The one with the spring goes in the back, the one without goes over here in the front. And now you just take the caliper, make sure those bolts are not sticking out. You just nicely replace everything over here in the back, just like that, and that's it. And you just screw everything back together. Now you replace the spring. It goes under over here. Just like that. It loose a little bit over here. I mean, not loose, but it I push the caliper a little bit too far. But I mean, we're talking about like 16 of an inch. That's not a problem at all. One time you push the brakes, this is gonna be perfect. So now you put those plastic caps. Top, bottom. Put this Christmas tree back. Clip. Put the screw. That's it, and now you just put the tire back. And that's how you replace the brake pads on the Ford Escape 2017. Nothing too scary. If you have a project like that, good luck.